Hello mates, I hope you're all doing well. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my personal tips for when it comes to dealing with anxiety whilst getting tattooed. Getting tattooed whilst being a really rewarding experience most of the time can also bring with it like a lot of anxiety, right? You're quite literally making life-changing decisions, life-changing alterations to your body. It's not something that everyone should necessarily be taking lightly. However, as I said, it should also be a really rewarding experience at the end of the day. So I want to share with you some of the tips that I use in order to navigate it with as few issues as possible. It's okay to feel anxiety before, during, and even after a tattoo session. I've got, I think, about 35 tattoos now and have been getting tattooed for 10 years, and I still experience anxiety with every tattoo that I get. It's never gone away from me, but I have found ways to make it more manageable. And with that, let's get into it. So tip number one, and this is really important, do your research beforehand, okay? Find an artist whose work you truly love, and I don't mean that you like their work a little bit, if they maybe did this a bit differently or whatever. No, I fully mean that you actually fall in love with it and that they specialize in a style that you really enjoy. I recommend finding an artist who, whenever they post a photo of their work on Instagram, for example, it makes you fully pumped at just how cool it is, how much you love it, and how much it leaves you gagging to see more of their work. Also, make sure you look at some healed photos of their work as well. Tattoos can look great when they're fresh in the photo that the artist shares on their Instagram, and then 6 months healed, all of a sudden half of it's fallen out. Most artists should regularly post healed photos of their work, so if you find an artist that you really like but can't see any healed photos on their page, it's really worth reaching out to them to ask if they do have any healed photos that you can check out. And one final tip on doing your research is always worth a quick Google of the artist's name / the studio to see if any negative reviews come up, or worse. For more tips on choosing a tattoo artist, I actually made a whole video on this just over a year ago, which I recommend you check out. My next tip, and this one can be really helpful at putting your mind at ease if you're a particularly anxious person, is to meet your artist in person beforehand, before your session. It's worth reaching out to them to book an in-person consultation before the session. It's the easiest way to see if you're on the same wavelength, if they make you feel comfortable, and you can get a feel for them and for the studio as well. I know this one could be kind of difficult if you're having to travel like a long way to get the tattoo, but if the artist is not too far away from you, it's well worth meeting them if you can. And then if you don't like how they make you feel during that consultation, you can then go back to the drawing board and choose a different artist who hopefully doesn't make you feel that way. If we move on to the actual day of the session, first of all, you want to make sure that you've eaten and you've drunk beforehand and that you bring snacks with you. I know that anxiety can really do a number on your appetite, but it is so important that you eat when it comes to getting tattooed, as your blood sugar is going to drop once you start getting tattooed, and it's important that you're eating to help combat that. A big tip that I'd recommend is just being honest with your artist though when you get to the session. If you are feeling nervous, it can really help to just express this out loud. I know that this can feel like a really big step and you might worry that it'll make the artist uncomfortable then, or you're worried that you're just being silly, but tattoo artists literally do this all day, every day, so should have some tips for helping you get through this as smoothly as possible, and are often really good at just reassuring you. My next tip is around the design, and I think this is probably one of the most anxiety-inducing things for people, because not all artists will send the design before the day of the appointment. Some do, they'll send it like the night before or the morning of the appointment, but it might be you don't see the design until you actually arrive at the appointment. Imagine the commitment of doing this life-changing thing and you're going in just totally blind. Well, this is why doing your research is so very important. The artist who's done the majority of my tattoos, he doesn't tend to send the designs beforehand, but you know what? That's absolutely fine. And do you know why? Because I love all of the work that he does. He does a style that I'm head over heels in love with, so I know he's always going to do a bang up job and produce something that I'm going to be really happy with. So it's really important, I would say, or at least it's really soothing to know that you love all of your artist's work, because this will then help you to feel confident that they're going to make you a sick tattoo. If it's your first time getting tattooed by an artist, then maybe get some flash from the artist if you see something that they've drawn and you love and they have available to tattoo, so you know 100% going in what it is that you're going to get. Artists will normally have a tab on their Instagram page with pictures of their pre-drawn flash and what is still available, so I'd recommend you check that out. My next tip is around the placement of the tattoo, as I know this can be super anxiety inducing if the artist places the stencil somewhere where they think it will look good but you're not so sure. It's really important to know that it's perfectly okay to want to move the stencil as many times as you like until you are happy with where the tattoo is going to be. When it comes to placing a tattoo, this is not the time to be a people pleaser. You're making a lifelong commitment, and tattoo artists know this and they respect this. So if you don't like where the stencil is being placed, it's 100% absolutely fine to ask to move the stencil until you are happy with it. Okay, my next tip is around regret, because of course the idea of, oh no, what if I get this tattoo and I regret it, can cause people a lot of anxiety. And I think this is a really common thought to enter your head. What I don't think is actually spoken about enough though is it's actually normal to just be like a little bit in shock after you get a tattoo and to start to question your decisions. And for me anyway, this normally lasts for a few days to a few weeks after the tattoo, but the feeling normally passes. No tattoo that I've got where the feeling has actually lasted more than a couple of weeks. A lot of people with tattoos experience this, so you're absolutely not alone, and it's a totally normal reaction. You've now got something on your body that wasn't there before. Of course your brain is going to be like a little bit shocked until you get used to looking in the mirror and seeing it there. I don't think that feeling is any different to like getting like a new haircut, or I shaved my beard off a little while ago, and for me at least it's kind of the same feeling. Like it's a bit of a shock at first, but once you're used to it, you love it. Okay, let's talk about pain. Pain is one of those things that seems to really freak people out the most before a tattoo. So I just want to reassure you that whilst tattoos hurt, I mean of course they do, there's needles going into your skin, it's not going to tickle, but it's also not agony either. Think how many people in the world have tattoos and sit through getting tattooed. If it was absolutely excruciating, would so many people have tattoos? Probably not. So please be assured that whilst you will feel pain as the tattoo is being applied to you, probably not going to be as bad as you built it up in your head to be. If you're watching this and you're getting your first tattoo, I'd recommend putting it somewhere where the pain is pretty minimal, like on your arms for example. The arms are really not too painful at all to get tattooed on. If you really don't want to be dealing with the pain though, and you're thinking you might want to use like a numbing cream, then you do need to clear that with the artist first to make sure that it is okay with them. Most artists will have like a preference about this, and if they are okay with it, they can recommend you a cream and give you instructions about what you'll need to do with it, as you may need to apply it before the session and stuff like that. So just speak to your artist in advance. And lastly, this is kind of a personal one, but I want to talk about the social anxiety that comes with getting a tattoo. Not all of us are the most social butterflies, right? Not all of us want to have a chin wag. So I just want to tell you that you don't actually have to talk if you don't want to once you're getting tattooed. Obviously you need to tell the artist where you want the tattoo and any other details that are important to you, but once the tattoo is actually being applied, it's okay if you want to put like headphones on, or what I tend to do, to be honest, is I just close my eyes and I just drift off, which helps me to deal with the pain and to not feel bored, as tattoos can be long old things. And actually not all artists will want to talk when they're tattooing anyways. They can feel it like distracts them and they want to concentrate, and if this is the case, they will normally be upfront with you and tell you this. And that is it. Those are my personal tips for dealing with tattoo anxiety. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like and hit the subscribe button and all of that other YouTube bollocks. If you like the music that you're hearing in the background, well, it was actually all produced by me. I've got another channel where I post beats/instrumentals that I've written for singers to use to write songs to, so if that is something that you are interested in, I'll put a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for you. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.